Okay. One of the things that I have noticed is people asking, like, how do I get students to participate when they're in breakout rooms? And I thought, well, what you want to do is you want to have students have, all right, I have slides here, right? So for, when you're doing group work or video meetings, how do I get students to participate? How do I know what they're doing in the group? So one solution is you ask them to have a Google Slides per group. And then whatever they're doing, they take notes or they have some sort of a product that they have to produce while they're in the breakout room. So how do you make all these Google Slides for the breakout room? So this does not make the breakout rooms. It does the Google Slides for the breakout rooms. And so basically it goes like this. You want each group to have a Google Slides to collaborate on. So your first option is if you're a Google Classroom user, you can add a Google Slides into an assignment where students can edit, and you just say group 1, group 2 is how I name them. So if I want to have 5 groups, I would just put 5 slides into one assignment, and I would then give edit access through Google Classroom. And there's a problem with that, is that if you do it that way, they're not all in the same folder, so you have to make them all in the folder, but you could duplicate and add a template to get them started if you want to, or if you assign in Google Classroom. The key here, I thought about that with that Google Classroom, is it has to be in a folder. So all the slides have to be in a folder in Google Drive. So you could create a folder in Drive. Mr. Ten's here. Create a folder in Google Drive and create some slides in there, or you could do it in Google Classroom where you assign each student or groups the slides, giving edit access, or I have Pile of Slides. Now, Pile of Slides is something that I created that was independent. You could do alicekeeler.com/pile of slides, but then I thought I really should just wrap this in so you can do it all in the same place. So what I'm going to show you is alicekeeler.com/first slide. So if you go to alicekeeler.com/first slide, it'll prompt you to make a copy, and it'll allow you to create the slides in there. But you'll notice also there is an option that says pile of slides in the sidebar. So I've actually merged these two things together. And what you're going to do is, instead of doing your roster, so what Pile of Slides does is creates a folder in Google Drive with a slides per student and shares it with them. But instead of putting a student name, why not just put a group name? And so then doing it this way, whatever you do, you just need a folder. Now, once you have this folder of slides, it is optional. You can have a slide deck that you push from out into the student slides. So that is an optional option. And then what you're able to do is extract out to a spreadsheet. So I have all of these Google Slides that I made. How do I get my students into the slides? So I have a list of your slides as a hyperlink. It extracts out in a separate spreadsheet that automatically is viewable, so you can copy and paste that right into the chat of your video meeting, or however it is that you distribute. Maybe you put it in the stream in Google Classroom so students can get on their group slides faster. Now, here's the thing is, while they're in those breakout rooms, while they're doing group work, even if you're face-to-face, how do you know what they're doing? Well, since they're using slides and you made them, you can actually open up all of those slides and you can see what they're doing when they're in all of the rooms. So I would recommend that if you have 6 groups, you have 6 tabs. Have them all open. Now, here's optional, is you can push more slides. So as they're working, you start them off with one prompt. You're like, okay, you guys talk about this, put your discussion points on the slide, and then you can push them a new slide so they can keep working with a second prompt or a second task while they're in the breakout room. And then what I've coded is that you can send them a stop. So you can send a message that says time's up, and you should come back from the groups, come back from the breakout room. And if you want to, you can cut off the edit access so they can't even continue to edit it after you end it. Okay, so we're gonna try it out. I'm gonna show you how it works. Any questions so far? Okay, quiet bunch. All right, so I'm going to do alicekeeler.com/first slide. So this is the key. This is freely available to anyone. You do alicekeeler.com/first slide. We're going to make a copy. I'm just going to wait a second. You just relax a minute. Try not to throw my phone on the floor. And in a second, it's going to show up here in the add-ons menu. Come on. Here it is. So I have first slide. I'm going to show the sidebar. I'm going to authorize it. Whatever it says, say yes. Now, I don't add this permanently to the Google add-on market because it uses Drive app, and Google is very picky about Drive app, and they'll charge you like $15,000 to get approved. So the only way to get this add-on is alicekeeler.com/first slide. Now, this option up here says choose a folder. It assumes you already have a folder. So if you have a folder because you went to Google Drive and made a folder and put a bunch of slides in it, thanks, Jennifer, or you did Google Classroom, which automatically creates a folder, you'd use the blue button. Otherwise, you'll see that this is a new feature that I've integrated pile of slides right into the sidebar. So I'm going to go to pile of slides. It says show list. All this does is put you on the list. Now, where it says student names, I'm going to highlight this just for kicks and giggles. You can put group names. So I'm going to say group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and group 5. So I'm going to create a Google Slides for each group. And this is, I'm going to rename my spreadsheet to be November 8th meeting. And then you see where it says in the sidebar, make slides. So I'm just going to kick it. I just push this one button and I hang out. So if you were to make your own slides, it would take longer and you have to put some effort and thinking into it. But instead, I'm just going to drink tea. It's going to be great. Chillaxing. Okay, so now I have a spreadsheet that has the links to all of my slides, but the problem is you don't have my spreadsheet. The other thing is all of these slides are totally blank. So you notice when I hover over, it gives me a preview. There's nothing on them. So I've actually created some prompts. I am going to highlight this, a completely separate Google Slides that I want to push to. So I'm going to copy the link on the top of this so that when I choose set slides, I can push from these slides to the group slides, which are currently blank. I'm going to send the slide to the top. I want to send the first slide to the top of their slide so you can see that it's updating. And now I'm going to go to breakouts. So you can see it says breakout room options in the side. So how do I get you on this spreadsheet, on these slides? That's the trick here. I'm going to click share spreadsheet. What this does is creates a completely new spreadsheet that just links the group slides and automatically sets the slides as view so that I don't mess that up. So you'll notice I have a brand new spreadsheet. Here's the teacher spreadsheet. Here's the student spreadsheet. I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to share it with you. And I'm going to say Marcia and Jennifer are group 1, Elizabeth, Michelle, group 2. Get back to this roster, it's hiding on there. Andrea and Deborah are group 3, Elizabeth and Gabby are group 4, Joan and Meredith are group 5, and Shannon, you can also join group 5, or whichever one you want. Let's try and get you in some different ones. So you can see here that I have 4 viewers that I have linked to the student spreadsheet so that you can access. You can't edit it. You can't type on it. I can as the teacher, but you cannot as the student. But that should give you access to the slides, except you can't edit them. So I have to enable editing. Need a refresh. The reason why I have it as its own button is because if you created them through Google Classroom or if you use email addresses to share the group slides, I don't want to override your sharing settings, so don't forget to enable editing. Marianne, why don't you be in group 1? Or you're in your car.
I am in my car.
I'm going to mute you just because we can hear the background noise, but I'm glad you're able to come. Oh, there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll see if I click open slides. In theory, it opens up all of the slides, but it doesn't. I need to work on having more of a gap. There's one. I'll just do it by hand. I need to edit a little bit. It does work. I think someone sorted my spreadsheet. No, I didn't. I did. All right. It's not that big of a deal. It's pretty easy to open them all, but I'm going to fix that. I'm going to work on it. It's actually trickier than you think. So I am able to see, I love this. You see I'm going from tab to tab. Michelle's writing on her slide. Thank you, Michelle. Some anonymous. Otter is in there. Joan, thank you. So I'm able to just go tab to tab and see what each of the groups are doing. Now I have my prompts. I have this next prompt. It's slide 2. I want to push slide 2. So from my teacher spreadsheet, I'm going to send a slide. I'm going to send slide 2. So what should show up in all of your breakout room slides is that you now have a new prompt to work on. So as you're discussing in your notes, see, it just showed up. And as I go to each of the tabs, you all have my new prompt. So if you'll go to slide 3, which I just pushed to you. Yes, I can. So this is the spreadsheet. And we'll start with that.
Alice, I'm a little confused about how to get to the slides.
Okay, so this link I just put in the chat is this spreadsheet that has your group. I gave you a group number, but I don't remember what it is, so it doesn't matter. So just go ahead and choose any one of them. But you'll see I've got in each of the groups, I've got people typing on them. I'm able to just go through, how are they doing? And of course, I have full edit access to this. I'm the owner. So I can drop in comments. So the students know that I'm paying attention. I have a third prompt that I want to put in there. Oops, what happened to my donut? So that is slide 3 that I want to push to you. So from my teacher one, I'm going to send you a slide. I'm going to push you slide 3. So then each of your breakout rooms in your spreadsheet, oh, start with S. So each of your group slides, you're going to get the new prompt here in a second. Oh, I have to click OK. And there it is. So you see, we now have slide 4, which are your most useful tools so far this year. Now you can structure this where you do like a 4 quadrant so that each group member has something to contribute. How you do your graphic organizer obviously will vary depending on the task of what you want to push to them.
I'm sorry, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell me again how to get to, because I'm missing it too. Where's the link to get on that slide?
Absolutely. So what happened is, let me go back to the main menu. And you'll see that I'm in the sidebar where I go to pile of slides. And under pile of slides is my breakout options. So the pile of slides itself gives me the opportunity to create the slides and to push in some slides to get it started if I wanted to. But then I go to the breakouts, and that's where I clicked share spreadsheet, where it created a brand new spreadsheet. And I share the link to this brand new spreadsheet. Here is the group slides. And it's view only. But to be in the chat, I got the link to the spreadsheet there. The spreadsheet is view only, but it defaults to being view only. So it's so easy to forget to do editing rights. Am I right? So this way you don't have to, you won't forget it. And you can take that link, put it in Classroom, put it in whatever platform you use, and paste the link into the chat if you're using a Google Meet or a Zoom or anything. It helps them get into their slides quickly. Now, what's really nice about this is now all the group work is where? It's in your Google Drive. It's in the folder that you created. The pile of slides made a folder in Google Drive. So you can go afterwards and see what all the students did in the breakout room. So I have to chase it down. They don't have to do screenshots. Everything, you own it. You have all of it. Since I'm projecting here, you know, I'm sharing my screen. I'm just going tab to tab. When I pull you guys back, we can go through your slides and have a discussion and conversation about how the groups share out, or we can just talk through student work. And when we're done, I can send a times up. So what happens when I click times up in this breakout room options, you'll see you now have a stop sign on every single slide.
What?
Easy to delete it. It just puts it as a shape. But whatever slide you're working on, you'll be like, oh, wait, time is up. I don't know about you, but when I'm really getting into something, like time just flies. And I'm like, wait, we're supposed to come back? So this way I'm able to push this prompt out to your Google Slides to say time is up. And then if I want, I can click no edit, and that's going to remove editing access for you. So it's working on it. It takes a few seconds. Loops through them all. But you'll notice that when you try to type on it here in a few seconds, it won't let you. So I can push my times up. It's going to put the stop sign on there. And then if I want to, like, no, for reals, time is up. So think about if you're doing some sort of an assessment, you could create a Google Slides per student, giving them edit access. If you put their email address, it shares them with the student. When you do no edit, it will not revoke the student's access, just so you know. So you have to do it where it's anyone can edit, where I enable the editing, and then I remove the anyone can edit, so you know. But you could break them out into large and small groups, use an assessment, shut down the editing, and now you have what they made. I don't know about your students, but mine are always like, I'm going to do it later. Like, no, 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 we're doing it now. Yeah. Okay, so I would like to invite you to give it a try. We're going to go through it again so that you got to experience what it looks like. So you're going to go to alicekeeler.com/first slide. I'll prompt you to make a copy. And we just, you know, wait for the code to load. That's normal. Just wait for the code to load. So Jennifer, we'll see how we balance this out, where I'm now doing 30 minutes, how much hands-on I can do. But that would be the idea. You're going to go to the add-ons menu. And at the bottom, it should say, or somewhere in there, it should say first slide, so you can show the sidebar. Yeah, Meredith, I've been getting that also. So I have a feeling that somebody at Google did something when then that on the Chrome extension, and for some reason we're all having to re-enable it. Marianne, I just love your dot when you take your camera off, because you look like an M&M. I'm going to take a screenshot so you can tell. I'll email it to you. I don't know if you can see your own letter. Okay, add-ons. First slide, show the sidebar. You're gonna have to authorize it. No, add-ons don't work on mobile devices. So the students can get to the slides and edit on the slides on their mobile devices, but this teacher spreadsheet where you're controlling the breakout room does have to be done on not a mobile device. Chromebook, PC, Mac, whatever. Now we're gonna assume you don't already have a folder of slides. That would be the first one, choose a folder. So the second one is pile of slides. So you're gonna go down here to the pile of slides button. You're gonna click on that. And where it says see roster, you don't really need to click on that, but I do. It just goes to the list tab.
I'm sorry, Alice. What do you do if it says app not verified?
It will always say that because it's not verified.
So, okay, click on advanced or back to safety.
Okay, yes. Do you see the big return to safety? Don't click on that.
Okay.
You're gonna click on advanced. It expands it out and gives you more words of doom.
Okay. And
it
it says
below it says go to unsafe.
okay.
Yeah, click on that.
Okay, thank you.
They drive me nuts with that. So I'll do it on a another time. I'll rant about it. So for now, just if I've coded it, I mean that's just really what it is. Do you know where the code came from? Did it show up mysteriously in your email? No, you shouldn't authorize that. Did you download it off of some random website that you've never heard of? Yeah, don't authorize those either. So trust that I'm a real person. Obviously, I have a lot of things out there that I hope provides validity that I'm not making malicious stuff and I'm not someone in Russia trying to hack your computer. So anything I code will always give you a nasty warning that it's not enabled by Google because authorized because I didn't submit it. That's why it's going to say that. So they are safe. And what we're going to do is instead of student names, can you type groups? So this is group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and rename the spreadsheet.
Did you get to that by show list?
Yes.
Okay.
You can also just click on the list tab.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Do you have to put file rename or does it just rename it?
So what it's going to do is it's going to say group 1 for whatever your spreadsheet is named. So, I mean, you don't have to, but you'll realize real quickly that you wish you did. Because otherwise you're sharing with your students stuff that has my name in it. I always forget. I'm going to make the slides. If you put an email address in here, it will share it with that person, but you don't have to, because what we're going to do is we're going to enable editing that anyone can edit it, because I just want to make it easy. The problem with that is, of course, then they're anonymous. So pick your poison. I'm going to make slides. I'm going to make a note. I think I'm going to add the option to remove editors. Always looking to update. Can you go to your Google Drive in a different tab, find any Google Slides you got. So I'm going to go to slides.google.com because slides.google.com is where I'm going to find all my slides. It's Google Drive. Just going to open up any Google Slides that I have. Copy the link to any Google Slides that you have so that in your spreadsheet, you can set slides. Now this is what you're going to push. It's really as easy as just copying and pasting the link. And if you want to, you can send the slide, you can push them before you distribute to students. So you see I have the options. You can push slides to the top, you can push slides to the bottom, or you can just send the whole enchilada, like put them all in there. What you'll notice I have is on each, if you click on the slides, each group, it puts their group name on the first slide. It also puts their group name up in the title. When you're ready, head on over to breakout room options.
Where do I put my link that I want to push out?
Do you see in the sidebar where it says set slides from the push slide? Yeah. So it's show the list, make the slides, then set the slides to push. So they're right in the line. And then if you want to push specific slides, if you want to push some slides right now before the students get going, you can choose one of those 3 buttons and then keep scrolling. Once you've set those up, you can go to the breakouts. You're going to want to do 2 things. You want to share the spreadsheet and enable editing. Sharing the spreadsheet gives you something that you can give to students so they can get on the slides. Enable editing allows them to edit the slides. So if you didn't share them explicitly with a student, then you're going to want to turn on anyone can edit. So I'm going to click share spreadsheet. So Marianne, what you use for breakout rooms is irrelevant to this particular product because I share the slides with the students just by giving them this spreadsheet link. Your spreadsheet link is anyone can view. So if you just put it in the, here is my breakout room groups. You can set this up in advance. So if you know, this is a regular spreadsheet. So if you wanted to put student names on it, like this is Marsha and Jennifer and Andrea, and this one is Michelle and Meredith and Elizabeth. This one's Shannon and Joan. Bob. If you wanted to pre-set up for each of the groups, you could. You can get it for that one. But you do need to click enable editing. Otherwise, they just see the group slides. They can't edit the group slides, assuming you didn't make it through Google Classroom.
Alice, when I see the share spreadsheet with students pop up, does clicking OK automatically copy that link? Because I can't right click.
No, it doesn't. You got to copy the link up at the top of the spreadsheet.
Okay.
So this, the original one, the first slide is your control room. You can actually do a bunch more things that I'm not going to cover in the negative 30 seconds that we have. But when you throw in the capabilities of first slide on top of the breakout rooms, it gives you a lot more options for giving feedback and reviewing student group work afterwards. But for now, I just want to know, you go to first slide, lsk.com/first slide, you go to pile of slides, you create a folder, you create a folder slides, you set a slide that you can push if you want to. It's optional. Obviously, they can work in slides that are blank. And then you share a spreadsheet. You do the share spreadsheet. And you're like, hey, join the group. Here you go. Enable editing. And then it's up to you if you want to push some slides, send them a time's up message. Slide stamp is very similar. Let me push this slide stamp. It lets me push a custom message. It is going to do it just like the Time's Up, where it puts the message on every single slide. See here, get back on task. Puts it in a bubble. I mean, the students can just delete it out of their way. It's pretty easy. So you would share the link to the spreadsheet in the chat if you were doing a video meeting. If you're doing breakout rooms in a video meeting, I would just share the link to the breakout spreadsheet with the students in the chat. Or, no, first of all, if I'm doing a video thing, I'm always going to use the chat. Like, here's the link here. You might have also put in Classroom or Canvas or Schoology or whatever it is that you use. Like, hey, when you come to the meeting today, here's your breakout rooms. You want to plan it in advance. But regardless of which, when they show up, I'm putting the link here so I know that they know how to find it. Any questions that I can answer?
So when you share the spreadsheet, are you just sharing it in the chat? Like, are you teaching your students, like, just go to the chat and that's where I'm going to push everything out?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you get them in the video meeting, and even if I was face to face, I'd put it in the stream of Classroom or wherever it is that I share resources normally. But once you get them in the video meeting, this is where we are. And I frequently use the chat to share resources.
Okay.
So, Marianne, the relationship between pile of slides and push slides would just be that at any given moment, I realize that I have the ability to code pushing slides. Something I know how to do. It's pretty easy. So I see someone on Facebook or Twitter saying, why can't I do this? And I'm like, you can. I'm going to make that. And so I have, over the last 2 years, made a whole bunch of here, this will work for your specific situation. So that's where pile of slides was answering somebody's question. First slide was somebody else's question. And I last week realized I don't need to. Let's put them together. So I'm going to let pile of slides die. Pile of slides I'm not going to maintain it anymore. I've now folded those features all completely into first slide. And the other one I have is called push slides, which is if whoever you're communicating with, they have a slides that they want to share with you. So you have less control over it. I think there's some very specific and not very many use cases for push slides. I would use first slide all the time. I pretty much have all the features that you want in first slide.
Alice, is the time's up, is that just a specialized stamp that can be deleted?
Yeah,
Or,
it's just a shape.
Okay.
So so I have two of them. I have the slide stamp and I have the time's up. They're both exactly the same, except for the time's up's just a little faster because it does as a stop sign and it says time. So you can't customize it. The other one is well, what do you want to push? And you can type a little message. So it gets their attention because it basically covers up the whole slide.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So then they just delete it and then do whatever you pushed at them.
Would you mind going over the send slide to slides button once more?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, let me know how it goes, Marianne. So from the breakout rooms. So I have,
yes.
Yeah. So when I set slides, I am setting my own teacher slides that I want to give to students. But my vision is I want to do it one at a time. Right? I'm going to push them one slide. They work on it because they're in their breakout rooms. And then I push them another slide a few minutes later. Then I push them another slide a few minutes later. So the send slide to slides came from the push slides option when I go to, pile of slides. When I go to the pile of slides option where I set the slides, it remembers that link. So I only have to do it once. In fact, even if you close it and come back to it next week, it remembers the slides that you set. I'm going to go to breakouts. And then when I send a slide, it just says, well, which slide do you want to send? So I'm going to say, I'm going to push slide 7. And eventually, slide 7 is going to show up over here.
Mm-hmm.
Pushed it. It usually says okay. Mm-hmm.
And if I accidentally close that sidebar,
Oh yeah, you just go back to the add-ons menu.
okay.
So it's under here, add-ons, first slide, show sidebar. Yes, I will have this recording up on the premium membership website later today. So if you go to,
Alice?
yes,
Oh, sorry. So is the reuse GC? What was it? Is it going to be part of the first slide add-on from now on?
oh, no. So the reuse GC is really what I use to manage and do things within Google Classroom, where first slide is a standalone. So I would envision I would do first slide per assignment or per meeting, whereas I use the reuse GC to manage my whole Google Classroom every day, all the time, I do a new Google Classroom every unit, so I do it the whole unit. But
Okay, so which one should I choose if I've got like I made an assignment in Google Slides.
Mm-hmm.
In Google Classroom,
Mm-hmm.
where there's each student has slides, Google Slides, and I want to push a slide to it every day for homework. So which one of these should I use, the reuse or the first slide?
Well, for your particular example, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I have pushing capabilities in both of those. So if all you want to do is push, either would work. Either would work. What first slide lets you do is to think on more of a very specific, on this assignment, on this video meeting, in this group work, right? So we're going to use it for this one time, basically. Okay.
Okay.
It
So
allows not
the
only
first slide. I don't have to make the slides through any of them, right?
No, you don't have to. No. So with first slide, the first button says choose folder. So if you already have a folder from Google Classroom, you could use those. If you have a folder that you just made in Google Drive, it has slides in it, you can use that. So if you already have the folder, then you use the first slide button to select the folder. If you don't, then you use the pile of slides option to create the folder. Then once you hit that spot, all things are equal.
No, I made the assignment through Google Classroom with a copy for each student.
Yeah. But it's in a folder. That's what Google Classroom does. Like each copy for that assignment is in a folder.
Yeah.
So when you do the first slide, you can select the folder for that assignment.
Oh, don't have to do it through the template.
Correct.
Okay, just bring it in.
Yeah. So what's nice about, doing it with the first slide instead of the reuse GC is that you can actually pull the text off of their slides and you can read all of the things that they wrote without having to open up all of them. And then you can give them feedback and push the feedback back to their individual slides, their individual feedback back to their individual slides. That's what first slide does.
Yeah.
But the pile of slides has the breakout room capabilities, and I just put them together.
Look, because I have a math teacher, and she wants the kids to take pictures and put the pictures in the slides.
Sure, that sounds great. She probably wants to use the first slide.
Okay, I'll tell her.
So if you use the inside, this works very similarly, but it's free.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have one more question, I think. So once I've pushed the slide is it still live in that I can go in my original slides and edit and they see it?
No, if you edit your teacher slides, I mean, you pushed a copy. They're not linked.
Okay.
If they're linked, I don't think they could edit them.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You can. It's a little funky because it's it's linked together.
Okay.
And
So if I change something, would
anyway, so it feels to me like more hassle than it's worth.
right?
You're a copy.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.